Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm John Gray, and we're just plain living here.
Good morning. I'm Peggy Burton.
And I'm Jim Ford.
And here we are at last. One more
At
time.
last,
My love has come along. At last.
my lonely days are over.
You're no Whitney Houston, John. Give it up.
Well, didn't some guy sing that too?
Some guy on one of those shows, The Voice, I think, sang that the other night.
He
was fabulous. He was fabulous.
Well, I mean, like Willie Nelson sang Crazy, wrote Crazy.
Yeah.
And At Last was written, I did have the time in my head, but way, way long time ago.
Oh, yeah.
And it
the 40s
continued, continued to be
That's-
reborn.
That is when it was, and I say this often, all about the song. Mm-hmm. It wasn't about the entertainer. It was about the song.
And if
it was a good song, all of them sang it.
That's true. That's true.
Well,
Everybody wanted
Frank
to
would
sing
be
it.
singing it in New York, and Benny'd be singing it, or out there in California.
It'd be.
Not Benny.
Oh, you're talking about Ann? Wait a minute now.
We can't even remember now.
Dean Martin? Or
No,
he's
the guy
still
that's
singing.
he's still
Tony
singing.
Bennett.
Tony
Tony
Bennett.
Bennett,
Yeah.
yeah.
He'd be singing it in California, and somebody else would be singing it down in Florida because it was a great
It
song.
was a great song. So they
And of
carried
course,
it all
Played
around.
at millions of weddings.
And is there many songs being written like that today?
No.
That people are just dying to get their hands
No.
on to sing it.
No, because songs are written by committee now. Because there might be 7, 8 songwriters on a song where they can pitch it.
Yeah, and sometimes it's the beat and the rhythm that's the most important. Then they jack some words in there like baby, 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 baby.
Yeah, baby, baby,
And they
baby.
make $1 million.
It's all about that bass, no treble. That's the only thing that was said in that song that anybody cares about.
That's pretty much all it
But
said in
all
that
about
song.
that bass is all about body image.
I know that, but that's all
that's
people
part-
remember.
that's
They
what
don't
you
remember.
yeah.
You don't. I guarantee you can't hardly find anybody, unless it's Fat Girl, that would remember the lyrics to the verses. The general public, all they hear is all about that bass and the music. You're right. See?
But yeah, it's true. Yeah, certain
Or
catch
fat
words.
boy, excuse me.
So
Yeah.
if you're writing a song, though,
hooky
you
words.
do need a hook line.
Hook. You need
that
a
is
strong hook
repeated over.
or a
So
strong word.
Have you got any hooks on you lately that you
He's
can
probably
write a song about?
he's got $1 million of
I've
them
got
out
a
there.
hook book back there that's got about 400 pages in it.
Oh my goodness! You keep writing though, don't you?
Always.
And
Always.
that's you're inspired somehow every day to write something. I'll bet. Are you?
Oh yeah, I write every day.
That's good.
And I tell you my sleeping habits have changed from when we were staying up till 2 o'clock every night running a bar.
Well, that could have something to do with your sleeping
Versus
habits changing, yeah.
then I went to construction work in Nashville, where I got up at 4:15 to 4:30 every morning to be able to, because if you didn't leave Tullahoma before 5:30, it cost you an hour.
That's true. Yeah.
Cost you an
Yeah,
hour.
gotta
If
get
you
out of
left
town
at
in a hurry.
5:15, if you didn't leave till 5:35, that 20 minutes would cost you an hour and 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Just because how the traffic flows.
Mm-hmm.
So now, I gave Fran, she says, let's go to bed early. We go to bed 8:30, 9 o'clock. At 1 o'clock, I'm wide awake.
Mm-hmm.
Well, part of
Wide
that
awake.
is, as you get older, I think your sleeping habits change.
Well, they
somewhat.
do. They do.
I hate it when that happens.
I do
So.
too.
Well, and so I write. That's when I write. I write at 2 o'clock in the morning because you're fresh.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
You're fresh. I mean, I've tried to write at night, and I can't do it.
There's been a sleep study done on, how you're, just as you're in this twilight zone of sleep, some of your greatest ideas happen. And you should keep a little notepad to the side of
That's
your bed.
happened
And if you
yeah.
can possibly come out of that coma, write something down.
Oh, yeah, I've done that. And you look at the paper in the morning, and it's on the floor,
Scribble.
and there's 3 words, and then there's a pencil mark that goes like that.
You can't remember what in the heck it was about.
You need a chip.
I've done that
They need to
before.
put a chip. We need to have a chip
Yeah, that's
that
exactly
we can
right.
go turn it on and go catch that memory.
I wonder the the folks out of one of the Channel 5 news anchors in the morning was talking about their schedule, that they have to get up at 2 o'clock in the morning because that show comes on live at 4 o'clock.
And they've got to be awake.
I mean, what kind of life is that?
I know.
I mean, you're getting it.
Well paid. It's a well-paid life.
It pays pretty well. You're right. Probably not as much as you might
No,
think.
not
but
really.
but you know, goodness.
That's tough.
Yeah.
That's tough. You got to admire those guys.
You know what's happening now in that industry is there's so much competition there. Mm-hmm. You know, used to you had a newspaper, then you had a newspaper and a radio, then you had a newspaper, radio, and television, and those were the big three.
Now you've
and
got
they had
everything.
Staff. They had a lot of staff, and now you're competing with the internet and Twitter and everybody with a cell phone,
and Facebook,
and so a lot of these people who used to have photographers that went out and shot video and wrote stories for them, they're not there anymore. So a lot of these anchors are having to write their own stuff.
Right.
You know, so at
and
2 o'clock in the morning,
entertaining to say to the public.
They're writing a news show at 2 in the morning.
Do you guys dream?
Yeah.
Oh Lord, yes.
What do you dream about? Well, if it's decent?
Everything from floating down the river on my bed.
Really? That's a good one.
Yeah, that's a pretty good little old poem I wrote about that. I dream about all kinds of stuff. I still fly, which I'm glad.
Yeah, that probably feels good.
Oh, it's wonderful.
Is it like you're personally flying, or
sure.
are you in an
No.
airplane?
I can take 2 or 3 steps and dive
and just bounce into the sky.
Dive, and then land up in a tree, and dive out of a tree and just glide.
What do you dream of, Jimmy?
Usually about events that I might have been involved in, that sort of thing, you know, that I can talk about.
Right.
You know, so, but, and you always wake up before it gets to the end.
Before it gets to the end, and you're just right. I used to dream about understanding the entire universe, and I'd just be right on the edge of having the answer, and I'd wake up.
Right.
Have you ever done that? It was as if I was going to understand this overwhelming thing about the universe. But anyway, I never wrote that down.
I fight evil a lot.
Do you fight evil?
Yeah, I do, and I'm sure it's.
Are you winning?
It's a battle. It's a continuing battle. Sometimes you don't ever win. You just survive.
You're just. My worst dreams as a child was. This is horrible to even talk about. I'd be trying to get to heaven, and I would be climbing on the inside skin of a skinned animal. Is that not weird?
You are weird.
I guess
Peggy,
that was, but I never could make it to the top. I was always trying to climb out.
That wasn't during hog killing season.
I don't know. I don't know what caused me to dream that. Then there was the old dreams about getting on the school bus with your pajamas on. Did you ever do that one?
Oh, I've gone. Yeah, that's another one where you're going to you realize it's the day of your final, and you sold your books 2 months ago for 3 cases of beer, and you go to take your final and you can't even find your classroom, and you look down and you're in your underwear.
Yeah.
Thinking it's okay to walk across campus in your underwear, you know. And then you realize it's not cool.
I think
probably is okay to do that today, isn't it?
Well, you can do it with it hanging out as long as you got your blue jeans across the middle of your butt.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know whatever made that popular. That would
but the other night, you were talking about writing. The other night, I wrote at 2 o'clock in the morning, because I was thinking about this time of year, not this particular time of year, a little bit further down.
Spring.
The air is warm, the night sounds fill the trees, in harmony with the radio voice of Rudolph Valentino, as I dance with my love in the moonlight.
Valentino came to your head?
Yep, sure did.
Well, that's interesting.
Did you wake up and write this?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
And then another one was, the search for accomplishment is a multifaceted process involving intelligence, courage, character, moxie, approachability, friendliness, and compassion. But first, you must show up.
Good one. Good one.
Because I don't care what you got, if you don't show up, to work, nobody, or to do it, nobody's gonna know it.
I've been.
You gotta show up.
That's right.
I love poetry. I've been researching different types of poetry about different subjects, and you know, my own personal poetry is more like roses are red, violets are blue. I've got a monkey that looks like you. You know? I'm not very talented.
He's a good-looking fella, isn't he?
But I do love poetry.
Yeah.
I've been reading on the internet a lot of poetry about jazz because I love jazz, and I think we sometimes forget the art of poetry, and we need to show it more.
Well, and the stuff I write, this stuff I'm writing right now in my Loku book and some things like that is outside of the box that I usually work in, because I like rhyme and meter.
Yeah.
You know, and I like jazz because it pushes my boundaries.
You go outside, yeah.
But I don't like freeform because I need resolution, and freeform jazz will take you out there and leave you. They'll just quit right in the middle.
Sometimes the person playing it, you got to hook them back in to throw them off stage because they get lost in it.
Yeah.
And that's true. But yeah, I do like jazz. I like the fact that it can be free form and you can improvise and make your own music, which in life, everybody needs to be able to just be who they are and who God made, and not so much try to get in that box like everybody else.
Oh no. There's no way that society's rules should define happiness.
Good.
No way.
No way.
You define your own happiness. And the only true place to find clarity of vision is from the bottom.
And
when you leave the bottom and start on your way up, the clarity of vision is controlled by whoever's at top.
There you go.
When you're at the bottom, you control your own.
It's getting a bit deep for us.
It's been too deep for me for a while now. But that's okay.
Hey, folks, we've got people coming in here. We're going to have a great show today. You pay attention to these commercials that are coming up, because without the people who've been supporting us for 25 years in this community, we wouldn't be here. Please go tell them thank you and buy something while you're in their store. We'll be right back.
Russell's got your truck, man. Russell's got your truck.
Big, bigger, and even bigger. Russell Barnett has any size truck for any size need. Chevrolet, Ford, GMC, Ram. Check us out on the web at russellbarnett.com. Our selection is so huge, we may need our own zip code. So my question is, why buy your next truck anywhere else?
With the best selection anywhere, Russell's got your truck, man.
All I have to do to think about what I was physically before and what I am now, and I don't ever want to go back to that original situation.
The overall mission of the rehab team is always what is best for the patient and how we can facilitate maximum potential from every resident.
Well, the most important thing to me is that I'm allowed to do whatever I want to do, you know.
Everyday miracles at Life Care Center of Tullahoma.
Hi, I'm Mark Allen, candidate for Coffee County Mayor. I am a husband, father, and public servant, and not a politician. I have been a government auditor, finance director, and small business owner for over 35 years, and I know numbers. I've seen the numbers for Coffee County, and I see a mess without vision or direction for the future. We have a high debt of $84 million with infrastructure wearing out before it's paid for. County employees not being paid a livable wage, and one of the highest property taxes in the state. What are we getting for our money? It's mismanagement at best. We need real change. The status quo is unacceptable. Vote Mark Allen on May 1st in the Coffee County Republican primary, and let's hold Coffee County accountable again. To the citizens of Tullahoma, Coffee County is your county. Get out and vote. No matter who you vote for, show the politicians it's your county too.
Get your news first, fast, and free with your news leader on 6 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Local weather, sports, community calendar events, and a comprehensive look at the latest news stories and news makers as only a video news broadcast can do. Get it first, fast, and free with News Leader on Channel 6, your local information network.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and this is our segment we refer to as Police Pointers. And obviously the person, Chief Paul Blackwell, who you saw on the opening screen there, is not here anymore because he's moved on, at least temporarily. We're pleased to have George Morris with us today, who is the acting police chief, I guess starting this week, is that correct?
May 4th.
May 4th. That's right, because Paul takes over as interim city administrator next week.
Yes, sir.
So, yeah. And so Paul's going to be the chief for a while, or maybe forever. I mean, George is going to be the chief for a while, or maybe forever. We don't know. We'll see how all that works out. You've been with the police department for a little bit, I think, haven't you?
Yeah, I've started with the Tullahoma Police Department in 2004. And I worked all 3 shifts. Primarily spent my time on the 3rd shift, the 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. shift.
Did you like that shift?
I did.
Did you?
I was used to that shift. It was a shift where you can really show your proactivity on shifts like that. You get out, that's your security shift. That's where you get out and you're protecting, you're checking the buildings. You're looking for suspicious activity. There's a lot less traffic on the road, so you have more time to concentrate on security aspects of the law enforcement job.
So, what about your sleeping habits? I worked 11 to 7 for a while when I was a lot younger, and I could never adjust. But,
well, they change daily. You got children. You have activities you have to do. You have court that you have to do. So you're continuously changing your sleeping habits on a shift like that.
I guess you really don't ever get into a routine.
Right, yes, sir.
So I guess if you're working that shift, then a lot of times, if you had court, for instance, you're up till no telling when the next day.
Yeah, for the most part, you're in court at 9 a.m. You get off at 6. You're in court at 9 a.m. You may be out at 12, 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
You get a few hours sleep.
You know, I hadn't thought about that, George, but how do I guess police officers spend a fair amount of time in court, don't they?
They do, and that's one of the better aspects of the job, really. Your job is not complete until you finish that in court. I always say, of course, the most important part of your job. If you make that arrest, if you take that person's freedom away from them, and you've got to go to court and prove that against that person, your job is not complete until you have finished that court session.
Okay. So do you have to prepare for those, or is that just...
You start preparing from the time that you decide to make a stop or to approach someone. You're preparing from that point all the way to the end. So
are you in city court, or are you in circuit court, or...
We go all 3 courts. We have courts in general sessions, juvenile court, city court in Tullahoma, general sessions in circuit, and Coffee County. Plus, we also cover parts of Franklin County. We have to appear in court in Franklin County also.
That's right, yeah. Because part of Tullahoma is in Franklin County. So,
yes, sir.
So I guess that makes it kind of interesting, I would imagine.
It does, because you got 2 separate jurisdictions that you're working with. And of course, everyone's different in some ways. So you have to learn the different people and their different aspects of how they do their jobs there.
Obviously, if you've been a police officer for 14 years, it's something you like to do.
Well, yes, sir. I actually started in 1991 as a law enforcement officer here in Tennessee with the Bedford County Sheriff's Department, and I transferred over here in 2004.
Yeah. Do you live here in Tullahoma, or you live in
I live on the outskirts of Tullahoma in the Ross community.
Ross community, I know very well where that is. Yeah, okay, yeah. So have you seen in your 14 years, have there been a lot of changes made in the way police officers work or things?
It changes daily. I would say it changes daily. The day that you don't learn something is the day you might want to give it up. Because every day is a learning experience in law enforcement. Laws change. They don't completely change. There's just aspects of that law that change. Laws are added. Laws are taken away. And you have to continuously keep yourself up on those laws.
You know, there was a controversy, or not a controversy, I guess it could be a controversy in the county recently, talking about officers training and among other things that, as it related to the courthouse. But to be a Tullahoma police officer, tell us a little bit about what sort of training a person has to have.
First of all, you're 21 years old to be applicable for a job with Tullahoma Police Department. You have to be certified through the Post Commission, which is you have to either go to one of the post-accredited academies in the state of Tennessee. From that point on, you have to have at least 40 hours a year of in-service, which is the typical training. We generally have 40 to 50 hours, 45 to 54 hours of training. Some officers have a lot more. We have some specialized training. We have officers right now that are getting ready to go to what's advanced roadside impairment schools, which helps them with their roadside impairments, their DUIs, or driving under influence of alcohol and or drugs, where they can go in and learn different aspects of how to get that done. We got some people going to child safety seat schools. We got that coming up. Those are all specialized schools. Those are not mandated through the state of Tennessee. We got some officers that are right now in the process of training to be taser instructors. We just got one that was a chemical instructor, which is the freeze, pepper spray.
Right.
So we're getting some instructors in the department to whereas we can self-sufficiently train ourselves instead of having to go outside the department to get those kind of specialized trainings on the equipment that we use and the chemicals we use.
So what you just said, I think, was you go to the school, which I guess gets you certified.
Post accreditation, yes.
Yeah, but then you've got to have this continuing education of 40 hours.
40 hours a year is minimal.
Okay.
Well, in that 40 hours, you have to have child abuse training. You have to have mental illness training. Fair and just policing is just being announced to it. We also have to do that. 8 hours at least of firearms training. We try to do at least 16 hours of firearms training every year.
And are there certain standards you have to meet because you carry a weapon that you have to be proficient at it to some extent?
The post accreditation service on it is 75%. You have to make at least 75% on all the tests and stuff you take. When we're shooting, we shoot at 80%. We have to. Our department has its own rules, and we're going to shoot at 80%.
I've always, and I think I've talked about this before with Chief Blackwell. I've always thought it's pretty crazy when some criminal out here pulls a gun or threatens a police officer, because you guys probably actually know how to use that weapon and are pretty good at it.
Yes, sir, and that's one of the things we really work hard on training is when to use that.
Right.
More times than not, we are able to talk that situation down. We train more on de-escalation than we do on the use of that force to take care of that. We train really hard on de-escalation.
Right. Yeah, I guess there's a little bit, being a police officer, there would be a little bit of pressure on your family and perhaps you as well, because when you go to work every day, you really don't know what kind of situation you're going to face before that shift is over.
Right, and after you've been in law enforcement for just a few years, there's very short distance also, you're going to realize that every day is different. You don't know what you're going to encounter that night. I think that's what makes this a unique job, is you never have the same day twice.
Right. Are there instances that you might answer as a police officer that are perhaps more volatile than others or more dangerous than others?
Well, a lot of officers will consider the domestic violence situations as a more volatile situation. Anything we do, we're putting ourselves in the middle of someone else's situation. We really don't know what exactly you're walking into when you walk into one of those. Our job is to secure it, to make it safe, and to try to help everyone that's involved in that situation.
Right. And there are rules about domestic violence, I believe, where if there is actual physical violence that has occurred before you get there, then somebody's got to go to jail. Is that right?
Yes, sir. What you have to do is what's called a primary aggressor. You have to determine who the primary aggressor is in that situation and make a decision from there.
Yeah. So my summation of this discussion, George, is that I bet being a police officer is a little more complicated than some people might realize.
It was more complicated than I realized at first.
Yeah, right. Certainly more than it was when I was a young man, because I think then all you had to say was, I want to be a police officer, and you didn't have to have any training. You could just start right up. Well, okay. George is going to be coming to see us every other week here, or every 2 weeks for the next however long, maybe till he becomes chief or Paul comes back. We don't know. but we look forward to that, and we'll be talking about some other interesting things relative to law enforcement in Tullahoma through the coming weeks. George, thank you so much for coming back. I know you're going to do a great job in this position right now, and I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you very much.
All right. Folks, we'll be right back with more living right after this.
Let me tell you about the toughest guy on earth. He does the work of 2 jobs, but only gets paid for one. He's tough enough to feed the man that gave him a lifetime of nourishment. He has the crazy strength to lift the man that raised him up without even flinching. That's right. No employee of the month bonus check here. This guy, no, this warrior, will always be by his father's side, even if his dad will hardly remember. Good luck finding a gym to train for that. If this guy isn't the toughest guy on the planet, then I don't know who is. Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving.
Is this the year you want to get fit? If so, check out just some of the things Tullahoma Parks and Rec has to offer. Kickboxing, aerobics, silver sneakers workouts, swim lessons, boot camp, water aerobics, basketball, Zumba, yoga, pickleball, lap swimming, treadmill, karate. Get fit, Tullahoma, and have some fun with Tullahoma Parks and Rec.
When your family suffers the loss of a loved one, the caring and compassionate staff at Tullahoma Funeral Home and Coffee County Funeral Chapel are standing by to assist you in every way possible. We are proud to support local industry and offer only Batesville caskets. Many funeral homes don't own or operate a crematory. We utilize the only crematory in Coffee County. Your loved one never leaves Coffee County. We can accommodate any need and any budget. Consider our complete pre-need service to remove this burden from your family during their time of grief. Lock in today's low costs and protect from inflation. Tullahoma Funeral Home and Coffee County Funeral Chapel. Our family caring for your family.
Okay, folks, we're back, and I'm excited about this next interview because I have a young man here, Johnny Hill, with me, and he's not all about the bass, just the bass. He's all about the music, and they're getting ready to have a music event down in Lynchburg.
Yes, sir. It's great.
Tell us about it. Good to see you, man.
Nice to meet you, Mr. John. Yes, sir.
And something else, we had Trey as partner on last week. He is one of the new owners of Harvey's Gym in Tullahoma.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So, now, with that out of the way, let's get into the music. What's going on?
So I'm Johnny Hill. I'm president and owner of Ignited Productions, which is a music publishing business. And anyways, we're getting ready to start the Shine On series in Lynchburg, Tennessee. And what this Shine On series is an opportunity to bring songwriters out from the local area and get them some exposure, right? So I know the biggest problem we have in music today is you have to show up to Nashville, right? And you got to make your name, you got to make your way, right? So. And I know I'm a songwriter myself. It's taken about 10 years of writing hundreds of songs before I got the first one on the radio. And anyways, it was a long road, right? So, and when I made the connections and started streamlining the process, I realized that I could help other people get there, right, by bringing music to us.
Right. No, for sure.
Yeah. So that's
for sure.
So the Shine On series is going to be a series that we're going to do once a month, starting out in Lynchburg, Tennessee. It'll be a singer-songwriter competition and showcase of all original music. There will be no covers, and it's any type of genre that you can think of accepted.
Yeah, so, that's cool.
Yeah,
so that's cool because Nashville is more than country music now.
Absolutely.
I mean, what is it? The line? I want to say the dancing lines, or I don't know. There's some huge rock bands have come out of Nashville.
For sure.
And so it all blues and jazz and all that kind of stuff happens up there. So it's not just country, but music is rich in our area.
Absolutely. Yeah, we found that we've got a lot of talented musicians in the local area. I'll speak for Lynchburg in particular. Being from there, we get a lot of talent. From the area, and it's hard working full-time jobs, right, and having your to do things, right, your families and
you have to make a living.
You got to make a living, right? So everybody don't have the opportunity to go to Nashville, but that doesn't mean that they don't have talent, right? So the idea is to promote this series and get the singers, songwriters around here some exposure to where maybe they don't have to go to Nashville to be discovered. So,
well, the thing about it is most of the best talent's not necessarily in the city anyway.
Absolutely.
They just have an opportunity and a checkbook.
Absolutely.
To get through doors that people like you and I can't bust open.
Absolutely. And the stars sometimes have to line up, right?
That's it.
There's a lot of things that have to come into play to actually to hit success in music. And like you said, not always the best musicians and the best writers are discovered, right? If you hear these people on the radio, you have to realize that there's even more people out there that haven't been discovered, right? That's the whole idea of the principle of American Idol, and The Voice and things like that is to get this undiscovered talent, right? So our goal, our mission is to not make it so hard, make it more accessible for talent to be discovered.
So
right?
Johnny, when's this going to start?
Yeah, so we started this last Friday night on April the 20th was our first singer-songwriter showcase, and we're going to be doing it once a month. So we're looking at the second to third weekend every month. We're going to be doing on Saturday night, Saturday afternoons. All the music will be pre-screened. They can actually send to my email. They can contact me by phone, and to see if they qualify, and we'll get you on stage.
So that's going to be like the third week. You're going to need to set it not at a date, but the third weekend.
Yeah, third weekend. Yes, sir. Yeah. We'll
okay.
On that rotation.
Now, what we have right now, folks, is some video that Johnny brought in to show what we're talking about happening down there. We'll be back after that.
I like writing songs. I'm not as much on the singing end, though. So y'all please be forgiving as my church congregation is. But I got this song. Me and my wife was actually going to a Tullahoma, and we were riding together, and we started having, we'll say, a disagreement that sometimes we'll do, and. In a car is not a good place to have a disagreement because you have only two options, either to shut up or jump out. And neither is a real good option sometimes. But we went to town and got over our differences, come back, and I'd actually parked at the high school, so we had to stop and get my vehicle there before we went home. And the song "I Swear" by John Michael Montgomery come on the radio. And of course, when we were kids, that was, if you grew up in the 90s, teenager, that was, a big song. And we always would sing along. And after the song was over, she said, "If life was as simple as a song." And that's the title of the name of the song I'm going to try to sing to you tonight. It made me start thinking about all the songs that we had sung when we were young and all the promises we made. And your life doesn't always go like every song. But anyway, over the next 5 minutes, I had about half the song wrote, so y'all just hope it don't hurt your ears too bad to listen to the song. Remember when we lived on love, burning both ends of the night. We danced, we laughed, we loved a lot. Yeah, our lives were alright. And in my mind now I go back to when our love was strong. And life was as simple as a song. If life was as simple as a song, everything would go right. I'd never do you wrong. There'd be a lot more laughter and our happy ever after. If life was as simple as a song, I said I'd still be loving you, and I said I do. But as time just kept marching on, that goodbye said we're through. I'd like to go back home again, when life was as simple as a song. If life was as simple as a song, everything would go right, I'd never do you wrong. And there'd be a lot more laughter in our happy ever after. If life was as simple as a song, and I'd swear like John Michael Montgomery, cross my heart like George Strait, I'd say nothing at all like Whitley, and you love me like Ray. Our home would still be happy, we'd always get along. If life was as simple as a song. And Dolly's I will always love you would be more than kind words. I give the keeper of the stars a hat tipped like bird. Randy's forever and ever wouldn't seem quite so long. If life was as simple as a song, if life was as simple as a song, everything would go right, I'd never do you wrong. There'd be a lot more laughter in our happy ever after. If life was as simple as a song, there'd be a lot more laughter. We live happy ever after. If life was as simple as a song.
We've got 5 seconds to tell y'all that's going to be the third weekend in every month at Lynchburg, Tennessee. Johnny, thank you very much.
Thank you,
and how can
appreciate it.
people get in touch with you?
Yeah, they can,
real quick.
They can get my phone number. They can also get me on Facebook, or they can get me on my email, igniteproductions@gmail.com.
All right, got it.
Thanks, sir.
We'll be back.
Kay and Greg Gillum have added another touch of excellence to their furniture business. Now a newly stocked 20,000 square foot Badcock Home Furniture and More location in Tullahoma, Tennessee. Locally owned and operated and offering the same friendly professional service with the best prices on name brand products like their sister store in Winchester, Tennessee has for years. Visit the new Tullahoma location and shop name brand bedroom suites, electronic department with computers, tablets, 4K televisions, and accessories. A large complete appliance center to fit the style of any household. Beautiful selection of rugs that complement any person's taste. A variety of living room combinations all in one large showroom. That's right, Badcock Home Furniture and More has added a new location. 373 West Lincoln Street, Tullahoma, Tennessee. Offering special prices year-round. Financing is always available. Speedy delivery to your home or office. Open Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m., Saturday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., and Sunday, noon till 5 p.m. Call 931-222-4353.
So you've been meaning to do something healthy, commune with nature, get outdoors and meet new people. We have the perfect solution. Come hike with us. You can find a Tennessee Trails Association chapter near you, including Clarksville, Columbia Franklin, Highland Rim, Jackson, Knoxville, Oak Ridge, Memphis, Murfreesboro, Nashville, Plateau at Crossville, and Upper Cumberland. We're on the web at TennesseeTrails.org. It's fun, it's stress-free, and it's good for you. See you on the trails.
I love it when Chevrolet people show up on the set. Today I have from the Fly Art Center in Chevrolet, Tennessee. I have Linda Wyant. Did I get it right?
You got it right.
And Sherry Frame. And both of you are involved in all the stuff that's going on, right?
Yes.
And I love the idea we've got some foolishness going on. Let's talk about it. Everybody loves foolishness.
Well, we've got this Saturday night, which is the 28th, April Foolishness, and it's a dinner and a talent show.
Wow.
Yeah, and tickets can be bought at the door. Adults are $10, children are $5.
And they get a meal with that?
Yes. It's going to be spaghetti.
Fantastic.
It's going to be a spaghetti dinner.
Spaghetti's good.
And
you try making it for $10 on a show.
Right, right. And there's going to be lots of, there's going to be singing, comedians
and
yes,
dancers
comedians,
and everything.
just there's a dog trainer that will be there too.
Oh, good. Did you have auditions for this?
Yes.
And
yes.
How many performers do you know?
I don't, because there's been more added since.
What time does it start?
It starts, the dinner's at 6.
So people need to kind of show up around 5:30.
I would say
tickets,
so. Yes.
At least.
Yes.
So the doors will be open. I would
yes.
think then.
Yes. And then 7 is when the show.
And obviously,
will start.
this is a big fundraiser.
Yes.
Everything you do.
It is.
I know it is over here. Everything we do is a fundraiser.
Right.
Do you have any sponsors we need to talk about?
Not for the April Foolishness.
Okay.
We don't have anything for that yet. Now she's going to be directing a play right after the weekend after April Foolishness.
So Linda, you're in charge of the play, and the name of it is
Fools.
I love this. You're just full of it, aren't you?
Yeah. By Neil Simon. So if you're familiar with Neil
great.
Simon,
everything he does
yes,
is wonderful.
It is a very, very funny
what time
play.
does it start?
The play starts at 7.
And how many days is it running?
It's going to run 2 weekends, the
Which
4th
is?
and 5th of May, and then the 11th and 12th.
12th of May.
All of those are at 7 p.m. And then Sunday the 13th, which is Mother's Day. So
Oh, you're going to run a show then?
bring Mom to the show at 2 o'clock.
Right. And don't fool around. Get over there
Right.
to see Fools.
And now that show, I'm sorry,
That's all right.
that show you need to reserve your tickets, and you can get those at theflyartscenter.com.
Flyartscenter.com. There we go. Write that down right
Yes.
now.
No, well, yes, that's fine.
And probably you can find out all the things that are going on by going to that website.
Right.
Or if you want to make reservations, you call that number, and somebody will probably call you back.
We actually have our regular website back up, which is just flyartscenter.com.
But I'm sure either way
and
we'll
it
get
will
it.
link to that.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
if just either one you want to go to.
So how long have you been involved in directing, Linda?
Oh, gosh.
Long
a long time. A long time,
is
yeah.
good.
Yeah, I think my first directing job was in 2008.
And
yes.
When I was just talking to you off the set about Fools, I could tell it's going to be a lot of fun and hysterical.
It is very, very funny. In fact, we have a hard time keeping a straight face during the rehearsals.
I'm sure.
Because some of those lines are so funny. And I can give you an idea of what...
Oh, you had a little act you were going to do. Let's hear it.
Well, when the schoolmaster first comes into the town of Kolyenchikov, he runs into a shepherd. And now, everybody's been cursed with stupidity. So nobody knows how to do anything. So he sees the shepherd, he says, "What's your name?" And he says, "Snetsky." And the teacher says, "Well, what's your first name?" And the shepherd goes, "Well, how soon do you need it?" So the schoolmaster says, "Well, forget your first name." He says, "Well, I did." That's the kind of stuff that's in it.
Mm-hmm. That's cute.
It's all through the whole thing.
Neil Simon is a really unique writer.
Oh my gosh, I
He's
love
done
doing
lots of different types of things.
Oh yeah, yeah.
This one is a little bit over the top.
This is
isn't it?
over the top. This is a farce. They've never made a movie about it because it's just not something that they could possibly do.
Right.
That's how crazy it is. But it's something you gotta see.
I love it. And you like to have reservations in advance for that.
Yes.
But sometimes there's a few tickets at the door, so
yes,
don't give up. Just
right.
go by
Absolutely.
and see if you can get in.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have to be there at a certain time to get your seat?
Well, if you have an assigned seat, because on the website
Mm-hmm.
you can come 2 minutes before 7, but the show starts at 7, so you want to come at least 6:30, Doors open at 6:45.
And do you have concessions, intermission, and
We
all
do.
that
We
for
do.
sale?
Mhm.
And you have some artwork on exhibit there.
We do.
I know you have some things to sell.
Yes,
Yes.
that's what I was going to bring that up as well. We have a historical museum, art gallery, and gift shop
That's
that
wonderful.
most people don't realize is there. So, you know, anytime you come to the plays or April Foolishness, whatever you're doing.
So if you come
check
early, you
it
get to
out.
go
Yes.
get to see
Yes.
what's there.
Yes.
I know you have some
Intermission's
wonderful
really
artists.
just about 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So,
right.
You know, you don't have time to look
You just
really
have to make
good.
a quick run to the bathroom and
That's
get back
it.
in your
That's
seat.
it.
Right.
That's it.
Right. And besides talking about the museum and the gift store, I was wanting to ask or put it out there if anybody is willing to be a volunteer for the Fly Center, whether that be to keep the gift shop and museum open or to lend a hand backstage. Please.
Set builders.
Right. Please give us a
People
call.
just don't realize how many
Much
people
work.
are required
To do a show.
to put a
Right.
show on the stage.
And how many hours we put into it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
So when you pay $10 for a ticket, you're really getting a bargain.
Right.
Right, you are.
Exactly. And another thing is we're also trying to put together a cookbook.
Oh, that's cool.
And we're accepting recipes to 2 different emails, but you can find that also on the website. It'll have a link to that.
And do you have a deadline on when you want to get that printed?
Not yet. We're waiting to get a few more in. I'd like to get it done by the end of the year.
Okay.
But I need the recipes as soon as I can get them.
And you'll take just about anything?
Yes.
Hopefully you've tried the recipe at your house
Yes.
and it works.
It's a favorite, maybe.
Yes. Yes. But so, yeah, we would like to get that made, that done to raise some funds for the Fly. And I'm hoping it'll turn out really good.
Do you have any big auditions coming up after these 2 events?
Murderous Crossings.
Murderous Crossings.
Yes, it's going to be a audience participation.
Oh, that sounds
dinner.
like fun.
Yes. I don't have the dates for that, though. Do you have the dates?
I know the auditions are, I should have had that,
Oh,
but
that's
it's
the 30th.
April 30th.
30th.
So it's very soon.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway,
Yes.
go to the website, get all that information,
yes,
write it
yes.
down,
It's
and
all
call.
there.
And let's real quickly say, what date is the dinner?
The dinner and show
Foolishness.
is Saturday, April 28th.
And that's next week.
This week.
This weekend.
This Saturday,
This weekend.
yeah. And then Fools starts next weekend.
And so there's a lot going on at the Fly, and we're about to run out of time. But I would encourage everybody in the community, here, yonder, wherever, get involved with the Art Center. There's a lot that's done for your community through the arts, and we appreciate you so much.
Thank you.
Linda, thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Thanks for
Thank
coming,
you.
Miss Frame. I knew a lot of Frame. We'll be back with Who Only Knows.
The day the Lord created hope could be the same day he created spring.
Springtime's here. It's a good time to get our air conditioners checked out before those hot summer days get here. We've been here for a little over 35 years. It's been our pleasure to serve our community. We'd like to thank you for Tullahoma's finest, and from all of us to all of you.
Thank you!
Cool off at Southern Middle Tennessee's newest water park, Tullahoma's Splash Island. Fun for all ages. 3 25-foot water slides, lazy river, fun water features for toddlers, tasty food items available. All this and more, only $5 from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. or 4 to 9 p.m. Sundays, 1 to 6. Join the fun at Tullahoma's Splash Island.
Hello, I'm Gary Cordell, your Coffee County Mayor. 4 years ago, I made a commitment to the citizens of Coffee County that if elected, I would serve our county with honor and integrity. I pledge to work hard, to give 100%, to be effective and efficient in managing your county resources. I want to take this opportunity to assure the citizens of Tullahoma and Coffee County that our county's financial condition is much stronger now than when I came into office 4 years ago. We've had no property tax increase in the last 3 years, and we reduced our county debt by 11%, from about $80 million down to around $71 million. Our operating reserve fund balance has tripled, and we've improved the jail medical system to 24/7 medical care and saved the county around $1 million in the first 2 years. The most important question you must ask yourself when you walk into the voting booth is simply, who's best qualified to lead our county forward at this critical time? I have over 35 years business management and leadership experience to best lead Coffee County. With the experience and education gained in the last 4 years as your mayor, much has been accomplished, but we've only just begun. Coffee County, let's stay on track. I humbly ask for your vote and support in our May 1st primary. Thank you so much.
Keith Barnett here at Russell Barnett Ford at Tullahoma and Winchester. Check out the 2018 Motor Trend Truck of the Year, the F-150. $9,000 off for the super bad 2018 Ford Mustang. 460 horsepower. And my question is, why buy anywhere else?
Talking history about this and that. It's conversations with John and Pat, with John and Pat, with John and Pat.
Hello everyone, I'm John Rigman.
And this is Pat Welch, and John, we're here today for segment 82, which is going to be an 82 mulligan of the conversations with John and Pat.
Yeah, we wanted to give this segment a better shot than we had the other day, so
there's probably multiple segments that our viewers would like us to do over, but we
make mistakes. Not too long ago, I said Arno Guthrie, and I caught myself twice saying it, and I thought, you dummy, it's Arlo.
Arno was a road in Williamson County.
I knew better. When you're up here, you just don't, you know, it doesn't come to you like it should.
A mulligan on the before you go on to Rico's?
No, I think we're all right.
I had something to add to that.
What was that?
Well, we went in a great conversation about Rico's, a fine, the original pizza place in Tullahoma. The Rico family had it.
Good eats.
Right, and I failed to point out that my mother-in-law, Jean Sanders, had 2 daughters, and she's got 5 granddaughters, and all of them are nice-looking girls. They're all refined.
I wouldn't expect anything less.
And she wouldn't have. But she found out recently, after we did this show, John, that her oldest daughter, Carolyn, who married a boy from Texas, who was president of a fraternity at Vanderbilt, and just the picture of success.
An ideal mate.
An ideal mate. Where one of her granddaughters was engaged at the top of the Eiffel Tower. Her oldest daughter told her recently, after this was done, that she was engaged at Rico's.
That's memorable.
It was memorable, but Miss Sanders was astounded. We'll just leave it at that.
Well, I proposed to my wife down on Duck River, down below Henry Horton Park. We're on the riverbank, and she doesn't remember whether I got down on her knee or not, and neither do I.
Well, I guess mine is even worse, because my niece Beth and I we really don't know when or where or how we got engaged. I think I was so arrogant.
It was just understood.
A little bit more confident than I should have been that she surely would want to marry me. We really start off in a strange direction today, John. Let's get after it.
I want to show a picture before we start this song, and this is a lady named Winnie Sims. She's deceased now, and Winnie was married to Grant, and she wrote a song one time that Charlie Pride recorded, and this song was in the gospel hits for a while. It was a real nice song, and I learned it years ago because
she's from Tullahoma. Did you say she worshipped at your church, or where?
Yeah,
did she?
She went to Grace, and he and Grant did, and they have 2 children here in town. One is Robert Sims, and then in Estill Springs, Brenda Sons lives over there. And they good people, and but Winnie was a lyricist, you might say. She didn't know music, but she knew how to write poems, and this is what she came up with and took it down to Nashville. I think Chess Music Company found somebody who put a tune to it, and it came out this way. I was lost, but Jesus saved me. He gave his life on Calvary's tree. Though I failed him, he still loves me. By his grace I am set free. No, I don't deserve a mansion where I was born a sinful man. No, I don't deserve a mansion. Jesus built a home for me in glory land. It was our sin that he died for all mankind. He paid the price. Who are we that he should love us enough to give his life? No, I don't deserve a mansion. I was born a sinful man. No, I don't deserve a mansion, but Jesus built a home for me in glory land.
Beautiful.
Winnie did a good job.
She sure did, and you did a good job.
Thank you. I hope her
contribution.
I hope she looks down and thinks that was all right. But Grant worked at Microcraft and she worked at Wisco.
Wow.
But I'm not sure.
Did she write a lot of music, John, or just that?
She did other poems. I read in that article that her picture was in a while ago that she had written something else she hoped to get recorded. If she got it recorded, it never did quite as well as that. You know, it was good that she was able to.
It sure was.
Write that and be remembered for it.
It sure was.
And I think when I thought of her, I thought of other people at our church. There was one lady named Ms. May Folk one time, and I was helping her down some steps there in front of the church building one day, and they weren't real high, but and I had her by the arm, and she said, "John, let me go. Some old man might be looking."
Oh, man. I tell you, an older widow can come up with some great lines. I don't know if you knew Ms. Oaf.
Yeah.
Evelyn Oaf,
yeah.
She was a great lady.
Yeah.
And after Claire, her husband, died, many years after that, someone asked her if she was wanting to date or be in the company of men, and she said, "No, not really." And they said, "Well, what's the problem?" She said, "A man at my age is only looking for two things, your purse or a nurse."
Cute.
Isn't that
cute?
Good?
Mr. Oaf, he was a kind person.
He really was.
And I would see him at the bank, and he would come out and say, "Can we loan you some money today?" But he was just a very cordial, cordial fellow.
A great people person.
Another person at our church, and I don't have a picture of him. His name is, I'll come up with it in just a second. Don Toller and Joyce go to our church. Joyce still goes to our church. Don passed away not too long ago. But Don had a unique way of meeting people. He would say, he'd pull out his billfold and he said, "Let me show you my pride and joy." And everybody thought he was going to be his grandchildren. I don't think he had children. That's what he pulled out of his billfold.
A picture of some pride and some picture.
Everybody at our church knew Don to give that out, and he met so many friends and people, acquaintances, you know, and people they'd laugh and when they saw that. And let's see, this last picture of Miss Clara Coleman. She was a great lady. She was, I think she was about 83 or so when she passed away. Died in 2008. Now, Miss Clara, I made the best investment many times. I lived down at Normandy, and I'd go back in those hills, and I'd find poke salad all in the woods. It's poke, I guess you'd, but anyway, I would find poke, pull off the tops fresh, put it in a sack, fill several sacks up of it. And of course, my wife didn't know how to cook it. She's from up north.
Well, she's a good lady, but she didn't know any better about that poke salad.
But Miss Clara knew how to cook poke salad, and so after I'd give her that, she would put it in the freezer. I think she'd parboil it, whatever, and she'd put it in her freezer. And then sometime over in the summer, she would say, "John, won't you and Barbara come over and have a meal with me? We'll eat some of that poke salad you brought me." And I would go over there, and Tim McGee, he would come too. She knew that he liked that kind of cooking too. So we'd go over there and we'd have a feast. And Miss Clara was so kind. She was the most kind person.
That is great.
And go ahead.
I was going to bring up, you asked me to try to come up with somebody from church, and I couldn't find many from my church that wanted to identify with me. But I'm sure that's incorrect. But one of our organists, her name is Helen Norman. Her husband's name, he's deceased now, is Charles, and she has literally been one of the organists at Trinity Lutheran for 60 years or more. And I hope she's not too embarrassed when I mention this, but she has refused to be paid. And so they finally gave her a contribution in kind receipt so that she could at least would deduct that portion from her taxes, and it wasn't a whole lot, but she's been a faithful steward of that church, a musician for 60 years.
That's amazing.
It is.
One other story, Ms. Martha Gaddis and Mr. Albert Gaddis. Mr. Albert died. Ms. Martha lives in Sevierville now, close to one of her sons. And she was a long time, she played the organ, piano at our church for many, many years. I'd go over and visit them every so often because I liked them. They really were wonderful people. And Albert's Jimmy Gaddis' father.
Okay.
So anyway, I would go over there, and I came at lunchtime. You know, it's a good time to visit folks.
Mr. Gaddis is a fine man.
Well, they would have many things pulled out of the refrigerator. Pickles, ketchup, mustard, ham, peanut butter, bread, mayonnaise, popcorn, cheese, every item that you can think of that might be in your refrigerator, they just bring it out on the table. And I'll be darn, Pat, if that wasn't a good meal, I enjoy it. And whatever your taste buds wanted next, you just grabbed a hold of it, and peanuts.
There's something on that counter that
appealed to you.
That's right.
Pat, we've talked, we've reminisced enough, I guess.
What a hodgepodge of topics today, John.
Yes, sir.
But a good segment. 82 Mulligan was a great segment. And that will do us for today, ladies and gentlemen. But it's not the end of the stories. We've got, as long as management will allow us to continue, we're going to continue. Thank you.
Talking history about this and that. It's conversations with John and Pat. With John and Pat. With John and Pat.
Smoking tobacco accounts for 3 of every 10 fire deaths in the United States.
Tullahoma Fire Department needs you en route to a structure fire, 202 Main Street. Heavy smoke showing. Neighbors advise child trapped inside.
Lighters, matches, and associated smoking paraphernalia are the leading cause of preschooler fire deaths. We as firefighters know that most structure fires can be prevented.
I've got one! Command, this is primary search. We have a victim. Need EMS to meet us at the front door.
Please help us to give you a fighting chance. This can be prevented. Contact the Tullahoma Fire Department for a free home safety inspection.
What's a Tennessee vacation? It starts off like any road trip, and then, boom, adventure and thrills everywhere you look, which happens to be some of the most beautiful scenery in the country. Music here, history there, and all kinds of green in between. Come relax and unwind, or bring the crowd for some stargazing, or stargazing. Whatever you do, come hungry and expect an awesome soundtrack. It's all right here in Tennessee. We're playing your song. For a free vacation guide, visit tnvacation.com.
Get your news first, fast, and free with your news leader on 6 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Local weather, sports, community calendar events, and a comprehensive look at the latest news stories and news makers as only a video news broadcast can do. Get it first, fast, and free with News Leader on Channel 6, your local information network. Oh, me, this lovely lady who I'm getting ready to introduce you to just told me she was vintage, and I love vintage. I just love vintage because I are vintage as well. We have some folks from the Shelbyville Airport over here today, and introduce yourselves, please.
My name is Paul Perry. I'm the director for the airport.
My name is Sharon Tinkler. I'm nothing with the airport, but
You're vintage.
I'm vintage.
And I'm Susie Henderson, and actually Sharon and I are EAA chapter members who
Yes,
have volunteered for Aviation Day.
So this is about Aviation Day at the airport in Shelbyville.
Correct.
Right. Mm-hmm. So enlighten us.
Well, this Saturday, the 28th, starting at 10 in the morning till about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, we're going to have all different versions of aviation represented out at the airport for people to come in and actually put hands on some of the things they've got to see fly over their heads. Everything from your small aircraft, the vintage aircraft, to home-built airplanes, to corporate jets that a lot of times people get to see how nice they are when they're flying over, but now they're going to actually get a chance to put their hands on it, take a look inside and see what they get to see. We'll have drones. We'll have, for people that look to see what more professional drones look like, and we'll have representatives from MTSU there, from showing aviation careers. We're going to have different aspects of aviation represented so that people can see what their community aviation's all about.
Well, give us sort of a capsulated view of what all goes on at the Shelbyville Airport. Do you have some special programs, youth programs, different things? Let us engage us in why we should be engaged with you.
Okay. One of them is, as they've alluded to before, is the EAA chapter, which is Experimental Aircraft Association. So that's there's a local chapter there that has a monthly breakfast that brings in people from all over the area, from North Alabama all the way across. So that's something it's been going on for how many years now?
Oh man, somewhere in the neighborhood of between 15 and 18, I believe, somewhere in that time span.
So they've been doing that regular meetings, so it allows a group to get together of all different types of aviators. So you'll see the ones that are their regular job as a pilot, but then on the weekends they get to fly their little small airplanes in and enjoy speaking, talking, telling stories with all the others. And then, of course, we have a local flight school as well that has over 50 students that are learning to fly out of Shelbyville. And then we also just do various things for, I think these ladies, they've talked to you before about Fly-In Santa that we do for the community, that they come in and allows them to, the kids in the area to come up there. But even last week we had an elementary school brought a group of children out there, and they all got to get their hands on the little small airplanes and get to crawl around, and also get to learn a little bit more and try to plant that seed for the future in aviation.
Well, two things that impressed me there is your flight school has 50 in it.
Right now they have about 50, and talking about...
And that's great.
It is. They also, talking about some of the things that they do, they are working with some Girl Scouts out of Rutherford County to help them get their aviation badges. So
That's
I mean,
great.
it's planting that seed.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
In the really young ones.
Now, historically, or the history, because I don't remember, because I was raised in Tullahoma until I got into high school, and the Shelbyville girls looked better than the Tullahoma girls. I didn't spend a whole lot of time over there. Is the airport where it is now, is that where the airport has always been?
Yes.
On that piece of property out there?
It is. There was a vision by Bob Bonmar back when he was military, and it started way back then, and he bought the property, and then in turn it was turned over or bought by the city, and then they expanded it and extended it from being just a grass strip out there, and they've added asphalt, and they brought in a commuter service back in the 60s, and so it's grown in that same spot and grown.
And the town's growing out to you as well, isn't it?
That's right.
That brings about another question. I'm sure that you have strict guidelines, and as far as is encroachment by industry or buildings and stuff, I'm sure that all of that's taken care of as to where they can go and can't go, to where your runways and everything are proper.
We do.
Right.
We do.
So,
yes, we do zoning and different things like that.
That's really good, because a lot of times that doesn't happen. And all of a sudden you have an issue.
Right. We're lucky enough to own quite a bit of property around there, and there's still enough agriculture around that it works out well. But they've working on business parks and different things like that, which with airports works well. There's Susie lives right off the end of the besides the end of the runway, and so we're
lucky girl.
Yeah, that's the reason why I know about all the MTSU students and all the high school students. They come
right over your head, huh?
Right.
Well, let's talk airplanes. I'd love for the kids out there to come, because I'm going to lift every one of them that wants to into my airplane. I'm going to turn on the radio, and they're going to hear what it sounds like to a pilot when they're flying around.
Okay, and what is your what do
my
you have?
My little airplane is called a Luscombe. It's going to be 70 years old on May 8th of this year. So it's been flying for quite a while. I've had it all over the country.
And how many people does it seat?
Two small ones.
Two small people.
They made people smaller in the 40s. I don't know what happened.
It's a Luscombe. I don't think I've heard of that.
Well, the story goes, and I don't know how much truth there is in it, but Clyde Cessna, a fellow named Clyde Cessna, bought two Luscombes, thought he could run a better business, and he bought one to fly to see how the flight characteristics were, and he bought the other one to take apart, see how it was made. And the rest is history. Cessnas have been stamped out by the Cessna Airplane Company for a very long time. I think he was soon bought out, but he was the entrepreneur that got it.
He was the one that took the tie apart to see how to make a bow tie.
That's right.
There you go.
And
that's
the other
great.
thing that's going to be there are lots of ladies who fly. And this is a T-shirt from Ladies Love Tail Draggers. And so when I was asked to find tail draggers, are those old 70-year-old airplanes, you know, the one with the tail on the back instead of the front.
I thought you were going to say those old 70-year-old men who fly.
It's all about the airplane.
Three trackers.
The lady that started this is going to fly down from Indianapolis. She's excited.
Good.
I've got another lady coming in a little Taylor craft, which is also 70 years old, coming down from Abner Farm up there in Clarksville. We're going to have women there. So ladies, if you feel like learning to fly, if you can drive a stick shift, you can learn to fly. I'm telling you, it's true.
And you know, we have a Templar Shooting Sports here now that has a well-armed women organization. If you can pack a pistol, you can fly.
There you go. You pack a pistol, you can fly. And then we've got people coming that are going to do demonstration flights over the airport, and they may just lay a little smoke on the airport when they're doing it. I don't know. We'll see.
Do you fly?
I do.
Yes, he does.
I've been lucky enough to fly into every public use airport in Tennessee.
Good for you.
Wow.
Good for you.
Good for you.
Well, folks, thank you so much for being with us today. Again, that's this Saturday. It starts when?
10 o'clock.
10 o'clock, and it will go, I would imagine, till dark.
Well, it goes
It'll
till
go to 2.
Officially till 2.
Yeah, but they'll be out
but
there.
people can stay.
They'll still be there.
Well, we have so much food coming, you'll have to stay to eat it.
That's right. You've got all the high school and middle school kids clubs coming, so you can eat too.
You can eat. That's Shelbyville this Saturday. Be there at the airport. We'll be right back after these messages.
It's time for every family and business in Tullahoma to go green and recycle. Tullahoma Public Works makes it simple and easy to recycle. Just place your recyclable materials, paper, plastic, aluminum, and cardboard beside your garbage container on the same day your garbage is picked up. Your recycled materials don't have to be in a fancy container. Recycling is not only the right thing to do, it makes sense. Recycling pays. Paying to bury our garbage costs each of us. Please do your part. Let's go green, Tullahoma, and recycle.
Hi, I'm Cindy.
And I'm Jacob. I'm the Rooster.
And I'm the Red Maiden. And we would like to welcome you to
Roosterwear.
Yes, Roosterwear is a cottage industry producing accessories for men, women, children, babies, and pets. All items are hand cut and sewn locally. Roosterwear specializes in bow ties, pocket squares, scarves, cufflinks, neckties, and aprons of all sizes for all ages. Baby products include onesies, diaper covers, bibs, and burp pads. All bow ties, tie it yourself or pre-tied, come with an adjustable neckband. All products can be made with the material of your choice, as special orders are available upon request. Don't be standing back looking at fashion. Create your own with Roosterwear.
Come visit us at
roosterandredmaiden.com
to find our handcrafted designs for
the cock of the walk.
I want to eat apples and bananas. I need to eat apples and bananas. Why can't I eat apples and bananas?
Support the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks to help provide meals to those in need. Join us at feedingamerica.org.
Get your news first, fast, and free with your news leader on 6 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Local weather, sports, community calendar events, and a comprehensive look at the latest news stories and news makers as only a video news broadcast can do. Get it first, fast, and free with News Leader on Channel 6, your local information network.
Have much time to get this segment advertised. Suzanne?
Hi.
Suzanne Foster today to talk about Special Olympics, which is coming up day after tomorrow.
Correct.
So
spring
tell
event.
It all.
Track and field and bocce ball on Thursday.
What is bocce ball?
It's a sport. Throw a ball.
Something you throw.
Mm-hmm.
It's sort of like bowling.
It has lanes. Okay. You need to come and see it, and you'll know all about it.
And what time does it start?
The opening ceremonies start at 9 o'clock.
At 9 o'clock, and that's at the football stadium at Tullahoma High School.
Correct.
Is there any charge to get in?
No, ma'am.
It's all free.
It is.
And how many athletes do you think you have?
We have over 300 athletes registered from the 5 counties.
And what are those 5 counties?
Bedford, Coffee, Franklin, Moore, and Lincoln.
That's quite a wide range
it is a big area.
Of people. And I know that probably you're always looking for sponsors.
Sponsors,
Could it be
yes.
that there might be some people out there that would like to donate, and if so, what would they need to do?
That would be wonderful. They just need to contact me. And our email is Tennessee TN13 Special Olympics at Outlook.com.
TN13 Special Olympics at Outlook.com.
That's our local Area 13 email.
Area 13, okay.
Mm-hmm. And we are responsible for raising all the funds for the athletes in these 5 areas. So.
And I'm assuming that you have to have trophies and ribbons.
Yes,
and
we have medals. They have the 3 stands: gold,
the
silver,
that's
bronze,
nice.
ribbons.
Yeah.
Yes.
And does everybody get a ribbon of some kind that
Everybody that participates gets either a medal or a ribbon for each heat that they're in.
And so, like for instance, if you're going to do a heat, how many people are usually in that at a time?
No more than 6 to 8.
6 to 8 people.
Mm-hmm.
And then they'll
Generally
do their
6.
thing, and then the next group will go out.
Mm-hmm.
So what is it that makes a person special enough to be in the Special Olympics?
Special Olympics are for people with intellectual disabilities.
only intellectual disabilities.
Correct.
And if there's somebody out there that might want to do it next year that's not involved this year, would they contact you?
They can contact me. We do have some people who are independent.
I was hoping they'd put that up on the screen, but maybe they didn't get it. Anyway, if we gave it one more time, would you all try to put it up? Give it that.
TN13 Special Olympics at Outlook.com.
Okay, there we go. Thank you. I think that it's kind of long, and so I was afraid that people wouldn't be able to find it. And I think that anybody that has a person that is intellectually handicapped would love to get involved in this.
It is good to have them learn
a
sport and compete and do their best.
And they have a good time.
They do.
And I think the people watching have a good time.
Yes.
I'm impressed that you said you had a lot of the Tullahoma High School students helping with this event. What sort of things do they do?
A lot of them will chaperone an athlete, so they will actually be assigned an athlete and be with them all day.
And so if they need to even run with them, can they run with them?
Typically they don't actually compete with them, but they will actually be there cheering them on and make sure that they get to their events in a proper time, get their lunch, just make sure that they're not lost.
Right. So how many prizes and trophies have you
hundreds
gotten? And are some people donating those? Are you getting some donations for that?
Donations is how we raise funds all year long for the events that occur all year long, and for the 5 counties, and that's how they're paid for.
And how did you get involved in this? When did you start?
I saw it in the newspaper in Tullahoma last fall. They were looking for a new Area 13 director. No one was stepping up, and so I volunteered towards the end of the year because it was going to go away if someone didn't.
I think that's beautiful, and the spirit of volunteerism that Tennessee is famous for. Maybe there's some people out there that would like to join in and help out.
That would be awesome.
All
we
they have
always
to do
need
is
volunteers. Yes.
Contact you,
yes.
and there's always room for volunteers.
Correct.
Just like there's always room for sponsors, and there's always room for people that are willing to help.
Correct.
And I think even if you're not able to help, come to the Olympics and cheer these
people
on.
There is something everyone can do, even if it's a matter of sitting in the stands cheering them on, or going to the award tents and cheering them as each event gets their award.
And they get their award.
We will have firemen actually giving the awards to the athletes.
I would say that almost every human being in the world has some family member or some close friend that has an intellectually challenged person in their circle, and to make those people happy, to give them an outlet, how great is that?
Yes. It's because
it should not be all about me.
To teach them the sport, to learn sportsmanship, and to compete, and to realize that it's not always about winning, it's doing your best.
It is not always about winning, and I love that you said that. Even though Charlie Brown said winning isn't everything and losing isn't anything, but Charlie Brown kind of has the right idea. But no, this is wonderful. I think it's wonderful, and I hope that it will continue year after year. And the fact that you have stepped up, on your personal team, how many people do you have? Do you have anybody at your side?
There are a lot of people helping me. In fact, a lot of people are over a lot of things that they have done for years. Like, I was really worried about just the setup, and those people are going to make sure that everything gets transported, set up, and ready to go.
And rain or shine, is it on?
It is on Thursday. It is not going to rain.
Okay.
Rain date is May 1st, which is Election Day, which will knock some of the athletes out. So we will be there Thursday at Tullahoma Stadium.
And so be sure and show up and support these people as they do their Special Olympics.
Yes.
Well, Suzanne, thank you.
Thank you so much for having us on.
It was great meeting you.
Thank you.
We'll be back.
At the time, maybe you were just building a bridge, a business, or a community. Maybe you were simply working for a home or a better tomorrow. At the time, you served out of duty and love of country. But in that time, we see a legacy created, an American dream lived. The rehab team at Life Care Center of Tullahoma is ready to help you live well.
There's no place like home.
Getting home safely is just a click away, and choosing the right seat for your little one's age and size will take you down the road to safer travels.
How can I ever thank you enough?
Visit safercar.gov/the-right-seat.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Jerry Harris. I've been providing communication services throughout the United States since 1985. But instead of me telling you about the services I provide, I'll let some of my clients speak for me.
This is Philip Barnett of the Russell Barnett Automotive family. We have 5 new car dealerships. Jerry Harris has handled our telephones for many years. Just recently, he came to us with a new program with Host My Calls. They not only saved us money, but the service is out of sight. I highly recommend Jerry and the Host My Calls team for any of your telephone needs.
Host My Calls is by far the best service I have ever placed with any of my clients. It provides cost-saving solutions while providing great communications. Call me today, 931-581-4411. See how Host My Calls can save you.
I'm meteorologist Leland Statham from the News Channel 5 Weather Center. Look to Jim Fuller and crew for local news night here on Channel 6.
Okay, we've got, Peggy, we've had a great show today. I just love all these different people that we have coming in here. This is just fun.
And what's nice is the fact there's something to do all over this region.
Oh, yes, yes. And, remember last week the airfoilers were here, and that's going to be out this weekend on Saturday out by the ADC golf course. Right. It's not a shooting range, it's a flying range out there. And, they're doing that. I mean, it's just stuff happening, and hopefully we might have some sunshine.
I hope so. I'm trying to think of the Fly Center. The Fly Center has all this foolishness going on.
Oh, yeah.
I love the fact that they were doing a play called Fools, and then they're doing a foolishness dinner. I just thought that was so cute.
I need to be there.
We all do.
I can play the fool with the best of them.
We all belong there.
Well, folks, we appreciate you. Be safe out there, and tune us in all the time because we love it when you're there. See you next time.